I'm on YouTube on this end as well.
Mhm.
All right, and we are streaming. All right, we are live on YouTube. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Conscious Living Toolbox episode where me and Reina dive into a topic and feel the energies, what's in the collective, and what needs to come to the surface. Hello, Reina. How are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. I am very well, thank you. Very excited for the subject that we're gonna cover today. Um, Guys, just a quick reminder: if there is something that you feel is triggering you and you are disagreeing with, let it go. If you take something away from today's live that it's gonna help and support you, please share with your network, share on social media, and hashtag inner vision transformation so you keep us accountable for the transformation that you are going under. So yeah, Ruan, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Super excited for today's topic that we are diving into, as it is something that we all experience, but energetically feeling pumped up for the opportunities that we are creating and that we are following through and keeping ourselves accountable for. So, yeah, super excited for the future that we are creating in the present moment.
Amazing. So, with this being said, today's subject is from victimhood to victorhood and how to overcome that victimhood mode, either consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, if you are experiencing. As Ruan said, we, in different stages of our lives, we all have been there in the victimhood mode. If you are finding yourself and you are aware that you are in victimhood mode right now at this moment of time, please give some grace to yourself, be kind to yourself, and then decide that the power is yours and reclaim your power back with your intention, just sending anything that is no longer yours back to the field to get transmuted for the highest good of all, and then reclaim your own power so you can step into the mastery of your own journey of life. Life is a gift. It is a blink of an eye if you compare it to the whole vast universe. So there is absolutely no reason for us to stay in a place of victimhood, scarcity, and everything else that comes with that range of lower vibrational emotions, feelings, and ways of being. There is plenty of academic research, plenty of live lived experience of people who have transformed their life, of people who have literally transmuted even something that it's the nature's way of how they have come to this world. And I'm referring here to what Napoleon Hill shares in his book Think and Grow Rich about his own son being unable to hear and how he has overcome this from the power of the mind and reclaiming the power back. So although this is not directly related to our topic today, it's a very good example of what one can achieve. And there is plenty of support out there, energetic practices, empowering mind practices, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual practices that one can support themselves with once we have decided that we are done with the victimhood. So yeah, Ruan, I'll let you channel through on this subject and let's see where the conversation takes us.
All right, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And just on that point, that is an excellent example that you gave about Napoleon Hill's son, right? Because it's so easy for him to be a victim and have a solid reason why to be, and just was having somebody else refusing that to be your future. not even yourself, because you're not aware of it, because you're on your own little world, but somebody's sticking their neck out for you and refusing for you to be that victim, right? And that is what we are also doing in a way with inner vision transformation, right? We are sticking out for you, we are rooting for you, we are on your team, right? So that's basically something similar. So that what came through for that. So back to the victimhood. Why is the victim convenient? Right? I think that's why most people also stay in the victimhood, right? Is because it's something that you can easily receive compensation for, whether
Mm,
that be in a form of other people's attention, whether that be like, oh, I feel better about this because I have this, right? You're
mm-hmm.
trying to soothe your own mind and for not doing what you came here to do, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody on this planet got something that they have to do. That's their sole purpose. And because this is a very dense planet, it is, for some people, their sole purpose is scary, right? It's like really scary what's happening out in the world. So for them to step up and complete that, it requires courage. And somebody that's in victimhood lacks courage, right? There's absolutely zero courage in being a victim. Like, really, there is none. So if you
Definitely.
are a victim, it's convenient not to um, to change, because once you change, you know you got this responsibility of completing what you came here to do. But you can so easily blame your condition. Oh, I got ADHD. Well, guess what? That's a blessing in disguise. Oh, but I got bipolar. What if that's a blessing in disguise? What if
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, I got memory problems? What if that's a blessing in disguise? Right? So we do not know the bigger picture. So why put a, as you mentioned earlier, right? And why put yourself in a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
That really limits your potential. But I want to go a bit back and throw the ball back to you, Raina.
Mm-hmm.
How victimhood, if we have to trace it back to children,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where do you find that victimhood starts taking root from a young age?
The first thing that comes to mind as you spoke is the, oh, it's your fault. Oh, it's your fault, And then even in a role play with the children, and I see this with my own kids here, saying, oh, it's your fault, it's your fault. This is like kind of passed into the subconscious mind then, and even in the unconscious mind, as up until the 7 years of age, they are like sponge. They take literally everything as it is. It just doesn't matter, because they are in the brain wave of theta, right? So they just take absolutely everything in. So it's your fault, and then then you grow up and you are like, oh, it's my fault, and there is a little story, if I'm not mistaken, it was Peter Stage sharing that story. So Johnny goes with his dad to the shop and his brother. And Johnny really wants to eat this sweet that he sees in front of him. And the dad is in a high beta state and he's like stressed out and he's thinking about the finances and all that, completely far away from where Johnny is. Daddy, daddy, I want this sweet. I want the candy. No, not now. Daddy, daddy, I want the candy. His brother is like a little bit older than Johnny. He's like, you see, daddy is like not something like, don't worry, like that is thinking about something else. His brother is trying to kind of soften the situation. Daddy, daddy, I want a candy. The dad turns around, and because he is in this high beta state, far away from the theta state that Johnny is in, he says to him, Johnny, you don't deserve it. Then Johnny grows up. Johnny is thinking, I don't deserve it. I'm unworthy. Okay. So victimhood mode could be potentially caused by our environment. But then if this has been the case, where our parents have been unconscious, and I think just a brackets here, that's why we are here, to to build this conscious living toolbox so we can help every single person who is drawn to us. But also I'm very passionate about helping moms and parents to break that generational cycle of passing that to their kids. So, and I hear it a lot, oh, have you been a good boy, or you haven't been a good boy, or you don't deserve it, all this stuff that they literally, we if we don't catch ourselves, that we are imposing that belief of ours as grown-ups to our children, or even not to our children. You can be like, it can be just an elderly person saying to my own child, have you been a good boy today? Have you been a good girl today? I'm thinking, why not? Like, what is this question? What is this question anyway? I'm thinking to myself, again, with all my respect, it's just their way of being. So I then have to be that intermediate person that I'm going to go and say to my child, this is not exactly what they meant. And I have to explain it in a way so it doesn't go in a traumatic way, then record it in the subconscious mind. So when the child grows up, says, I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, I don't deserve it. And they stay in that victimhood mode, then sitting there, giving their power away to whoever said it, their mom, their auntie, their grandma, the neighbor, the shop owner nearby, whatever. And they sit there and they're now grown up people, but they're victim of this time 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, And this is sad. This is sad. It's reality. It happens. It's very sad. That's why when we speak to people, we say, you have the power, you have the duty of care for yourself, and you have the responsibility for yourself to build yourself up. Is that kind of answering your question? I think I was a bit...
Yeah, no, that was exactly what needed to come
Sailing
through.
the boat.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of programming which comes through from a young age. But then one thing that's coming through is that a massive wave that's coming through is responsibility of like wanting to not be a victim, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to reach a threshold where it's like, where you realize that, okay, the victimhood only takes me till about here, but the rope that I need to grab in order to save my ass is over here. But you cannot go past this threshold. So you need to let that whole persona go in order to start again from the bottom and then work your way up. So I think a lot of people have worked their way up till the very top of victimhood mode, but then they realize they cannot go further. But because they've invested so much of their personal energy into creating this avatar of themselves, that just the thought of everything being for nothing is more painful than letting it all go and starting again from scratch as the victor of their life.
Certainly, I totally agree with you. And I think the older you grow, in terms of the older you are with your age, the number that you are, right, as an age, I think it's then harder. Why is it harder? Dr. Joe Dispenza says that up until 35 years of age, we have a very good, and this is a good age, 35. It's like you are, hopefully in these 35 first years of your life, you're going to get awoken. You're going to wake up spiritually. You're going to see that there is more that your eyes can see. There is more to life. There is more that you can empower yourself and build yourself from the zero, literally. But what Dr. Joe Dispenza said is that up until 35, you can rebuild this kind of identity and character, and it's easier, okay? And then past that 35 years of age, then it's like a little bit harder. It's not impossible, though. If you are 70 and you are watching this, kudos to you. You can change your life. You can start a business. It's absolutely, the potential is limitless. It's what limit you put to yourself. You are not, the number doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. I've seen people that they are in their 90s, They finish university degrees. I mean, amazing, right? I see people who are in their 60s and they have started their own business just now recently. It's amazing what you can do when you have the right tools, when you empower yourself, when you start believing in yourself, when you take the responsibility for your life and you rebuild yourself from the scratch. Absolutely anything is possible. And this could be a radical idea for you right now as you hear it, but think about it. Where do you leak power? Where have you been giving your power away, or where you're giving your power away right now at this moment of time, that you could claim it back and you can say, no more. What is my standard in life? Who am I? Who am I becoming? Who am I being? Okay. And you have so vast opportunity of becoming who you want to be just by closing your eyes and visualizing. You can see a timeline in the quantum field that it's already there. It's basically choosing who you want to be and then merging with them on a spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical body in a multidimensional aspect of self. So I find this really fascinating. And we experience this even with small shifts, even if we are not aware in our day. We experience this in the small shifts because every single thought or every single emotion that we are going through is shifting us to different timelines. Sometimes low, sometimes higher vibrational timelines. The point is, own it all, whatever is happening. I mean, if we go back to thinking like, okay, let's have an example with the relationships. We know that every single relationship we have in our life is a mirror of how we are within us, right? So and this is how you take your responsibility. If you feel, if you are experiencing something in your relationship with the people around you that you do not like, ask yourself, where do I leak energy? Where within me I still don't approve of myself? Where within me I still blame myself? Where within me I still criticize myself and still judge myself? And just sit with that version of you and accept them for who they are and lovingly release them so you can heal that in a deeper level. And you're going to see results. You're going to see, difference that is going to happen in your life. What is coming through, Ruan? I like to talk as you.
I absolutely love it. Yeah, where within me, that's a very powerful statement, because it opens a door. I love opening doors, which was like that's doors that's within us, especially in our hearts. And where within me is a like it leads the way directly to a massive door within you. So I absolutely love that. So one thing that I'd like to go down is what triggers us to feel as a victim, right? So when we are younger, there's a lot of external situations which triggers that, and it infuses. But once we get older and once we start living a conscious life, there are certain stuff that triggers victimhood mentality, right? Or that mindset. One is the believing people in authority, right? This is, I'm not saying that everybody is like this, all like professionals are this, but there are some doctors who really put massive limitations on people, right? They say, okay, you got 6 months to live, right? You are the only one who can dictate how long you're going to live. Nobody on the external that's outside of yourself has the authority and right to tell you how long you're going to live, right? Unless you personally take that in and make it your own and become the victim of other people's spell that they just cast upon you. That's unfortunately the reality of this, what is happening, right? It's scary.
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it's in India, which is a very beautiful thing. The doctors, they don't, it's one of their rules is they don't tell you that you are only got so long to live. They actually say, okay, listen here, you are actually recovering. You're doing well. Even though this person is going downhill, they
Mm-hmm.
tell the person, wow, you actually look better than the last time you came in here. And just like that, the person absorbs that energy and it goes from a victim mentality into a victor mentality, even though they're still on the downhill slope. But
Mm-hmm.
just that little input changes a lot. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely. And
when
there
what
is
comes,
plenty of research on that as well. Yes.
yeah. And also just to come back to Dr. Joe Dispenza, right? It is like what you feed yourself mentally through the different states that your brain comes in that will determine whether you can be a victim of the circumstances or you can choose a different story and become the victim. So I'm curious, is there anything that comes to mind that can trigger the victim mentality for you right now?
Just, yes, definitely. For me personally, or just in general?
Oh, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, you mentioned their choice, which is very powerful tool that we have for free, and we must use it in every now moment. The power of our own choice. So we have talked about choice loads of times, and just think about it as well. Choice. You could be in a mentality where you are a victim of your circumstances because your finances are not the best way that you want it. Your fitness level is not in the way that you want it. Your relationship is not the level that you want it. You can sit there and you can say, this is the circumstances. You can sit there and do nothing about it, but just play with the circumstances, live in the circumstances. Okay. But what if you take your choice and you say, okay, even though I know that this is currently happening here, I see it playing out for me. I know that this is a message from the universe. It's like a challenge from the universe to test me out. I choose to live in a different space, in a different frame of mind. I choose to live in an empowered state of mind where I will do one thing for my body with an action step. I will do one thing for my finances. I will do one thing in my relationship. I'll show up better. I'll show up better for myself. It's again claiming back that power, because without that power, you cannot do those things, right? So we need to be self-aware. And I think we have found that self-awareness is the very first go-to when it comes to, transforming your life or making that small changes until they become habit and then they become a transformation. Then you are that being of a newness of so the massive plan that you might have in your head might be overwhelming for you, and that's okay. Instead of having a massive plan that is overwhelming, have a vision that you can merge into. I'm sure Ron has to say about vision in a bit, that you can merge into that vision. It's going to transform, and then from that space, then just focus, micromanage the next action step. It does not have to be perfect. In fact, it's going to stink. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be imperfect. It's going to be a first draft, right? So this is how are we going to grow if we don't take that chance, though? How are we if we don't show up for ourselves? If we don't go, if you cannot go and run, go and walk outside until the first lamppost, until the second lamppost and back. And then if you keep this consistency, you're going to be able to walk around the block. You're going to see that the kilos are just going, shedding off you. You think about what is the nurturing food that I can put in my body that can, and this can be only in one of your meals. So Don't throw yourself into like a massive thing that you're going to set yourself for failure. No. One little step, micromanaging it in your relationship. Show up for you first. Love yourself first, and then love the other person as well as you love you, because they are you. You are me and I am you. Same thing for finances. Your finances are not where you want them to be. You're going to sit there and say, oh, see where life is going to take me. Yeah, if you can give your power away, how is that serving you? So you can think about what are my strengths? If we go back to Ruan mentioned earlier, ADHD and depression and anxiety and bipolar and whatever box, if you want to put yourself in that box, that is your choice. No criticism or no judgment on that. What are your strengths, and how this blessing in disguise, is that what you said earlier?
Yeah.
How can that be the empowerment state of mind? How can you bring all the strengths that you have that make you unique, so you can then apply this to your life? Yes, we will go for, through challenges. Of course we will. I have a lot of people saying to me, oh, Raina, you're so happy always. You're smiling. You're always smiling. You have no problems. Everybody have problems. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But it's the how you approach your life. I can sit here and I can say, I can have a few reasons that I'm not going to do my business because I have 4 children. I'm super busy. I'm not going to go and study my degree because I have lost my mojo, etc., etc., etc. I can find those reasons and I can easily go into victimhood. And victimhood was a way of being for me up until maybe December 2019, probably, when I have a breakdown. 3:00 in the morning, I was like crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm a mom of 3. How am I going to do this doctoral degree? And then it was something magical happened. It was like, I think you need to hit rock bottom in the victimhood mode, that you've had so much enough of it that a realization is going to come. There is nothing under the rock bottom. It's like the bottom of the sea. That's it. There is nothing else. What you're going to do when you go in the bottom of the sea, you're just going to jump and that's it. You're going up, right? You have to have this realization and say, no more. I was feeding myself with this victimhood mode of, I have a big bone. I'll never be fit. I have children now. Oh, it's impossible to be fit. Well, guess what? If you eat the right foods, if you exercise, yes, you will get fit. But it's the power of our mind that can keep us in that victimhood. And it's until this self-awareness of yours comes through and you say, no more am I going to tolerate this. And then you start micromanage with small little steps that is going to bring you success in the long term. And you start living in that truth. Progress is not going to always look like, woo. No. Progress sometimes is like, it's going to be, you're going to have good days and bad days. It's again how you approach that, Progress is not going to be, it's not a linear thing. It's like you have the duty of care to keep trying your best, keep showing up as the best version of yourself, no matter what is going on in the background, no matter what is going behind closed doors. Keep showing up and do the best you can with whatever you have today, right now, in this moment of time. And then you're going to have the satisfaction. Then you're going to merge into that new way of being. Then you're going to start nurturing yourself in a different way, and you're going to start changing and transforming. And how beautiful is this, to live that life, that empowered life, to build yourself, wherever you're finding yourself, even if you're finding yourself right now in the rock bottom. If you hear me out, this is important. You can do it. Take that next little step. Stand up from that sofa, keep walking, go out of your house, reach out to the person who's going to support you, embrace yourself with like people and environment that is going to help you to reach that goal so you can thrive. You are not a victim. You are a victor. You have volunteered to come here to this boot camp earth for a reason and a purpose and a greater purpose than you in life, and you got it.
Amazing. I absolutely love that. You can carry on. A
Thank you. I
beautiful,
appreciate you.
a beautiful picture that came through just as you spoke now is basically what Inner Vision is all about. It's transforming from a worm to a butterfly, right? And there's this stage where we're in the cocoon, right? Or we're in this we're in the chrysalis stage, right? Where we fighting our way out. There's a struggle, and some people find pity and they cut open the cocoon from the outside. And now the person who that is, if you absorb other people's opinion about yourself, you are allowing them to cut open your cocoon and allowing you to fall out before you fully transformed, right? But let's say that has happened, right? From a young age, somebody says something to you and they cut your cocoon open. And now you have a solid reason to be a victim because somebody cut your cocoon open and you didn't get time to transform fully, right? That is a lot of the mentality that's also going around.
Yes.
But one thing that we also talk a lot about as well is that we lay eggs as well, right? Using that as the whole process of a moth or a butterfly, right? You become a worm, then you go into cocoon, into the chrysalis stage, then you emerge as a butterfly, then you lay eggs, right? So once you're out of the cocoon, you can lay eggs. And your eggs that is your ideas, your aspirations, where you want to be in life. That is the eggs that you can lay where you're going to hatch and become a worm again, right? For you to go through the whole process of going to the chrysalis stage so that nobody will cut you open. And if somebody does cut you open again, then look for a better environment next time and don't expose yourself too much when you go into that stage again, right? And it's important to have a container where you feel safe, that you know you can fully transform without somebody with external influence interfering with your progress, right? But then on the other hand, you get other people that's in the chrysalis stage, right? They're in the cocoon and they see somebody who goes by, it's like, hey, cut me open. I was struggling to get out, right? And those people that wants to be a victim because in their previous one, maybe somebody did cut them open and they found that life was easier because they just got hand-me-downs because they couldn't fly. But now they back into it for another round, right? Like we humans are, like coming back and continuing a cycle. And now you face yourself in the same situation, but you actually have to fight your way through and emerge on the other side. And anybody that comes past, you shout and ask them to help because you cannot take it anymore. But you have to, it's your responsibility, right? That is what you were meant to do in the first place, is to break through the mold and get through the other side stronger, more beautiful, and more magnificent than what you ever realized that you could have been. So I just like to come and like take this conscious living toolbox, that this whole tool basically that this episode is, and break it down to move from victimhood to victorhood. Right. So I got 7 steps, and feel free to refine it after I've said it. So the first one that came through, obviously self-awareness, and also awareness to the responsibility that you have. All right. So that is the first one. And then the second step is becoming fed up being a victim. right? Because that is a threshold. That's when you reach rock bottom. That's when you like when you had that breakdown. You got
Mhm.
fed up being that victim, or because you first have to realize that you are a victim,
Yeah.
and then be, um, become fed up with it. And then the third step is to shed that identity, right? Because it's comfortable, it's so easy to just put on that mantle of victimhood, right? So you have to shed that and hopefully burn it so that you don't just pick it up, put it through the washing and put it back on again once it's dried, right? And then the fourth step is to recover who you actually are, right? And that is the first step to empowerment, right? And that is to discover like this, okay, I am this divinity within. I'm here on purpose, and my light and my energy, unique energy, is needed on this planet, right? I'm not here for X, Y, and Z. I'm here to be a difference, right? And so the fourth step is recover who you are. And then the fifth one is refocus your vision, right? Because if you're a victim, you're going this way. And if you're a victor, you have to go this way to empower yourself and look for the resources to get yourself out of the mess that, frankly, you have created. And then the sixth step is take the next empowerment steps, and the next step after that. So as you mentioned earlier, is take that little step. What can I do now? Right? Do I need to make a phone call? Do I need to create a PowerPoint slideshow? Should I just do a brain dump? Right? What is that next empower step to get you to your next? And then the seventh and final step is be the hero of your own story. Right? So once you've taken the step, doesn't matter which way you go, you weren't where you were when you reached rock bottom. So what's coming through for you right now? How can you refine that process?
Yeah. Very, very good. Thank you, Rowan, for sharing this. Absolutely. It's exactly, I think it's a breakdown of exactly how one can, and you can apply this to a situation in your life, a little situation in your life that is happening repetitive for you. So you can try it out to see that this works, because it does. So just because I was typing here as you were talking, just going back to the steps. So definitely become aware. So observe yourself in the first step, self-awareness and awareness of the situation you're in. Observe yourself, become your observer, become curious of what you are thinking, of how what you are doing. So become curious and observe yourself and see if you can define any kind of patterning that is going through. Then when you define that, when you see that, okay, right, this is where I am. So my thoughts are going into, oh, it's this person's fault, it's this person's fault, it's this. And then you're becoming fed up of that. You're like, okay, hold on a minute. I'm playing this record in my head. I'm sick and tired of playing the same record in my head, right? So this is where you're becoming fed up, being a victim. And then shedding the identity, the third step, and burning your identity. So what does this mean? This means that you are, in a way, taking off the identity of, and this can happen with the power of your intention, or you can literally write down, and we have this tool as well. You can use that here. You can write down all that stuff, all that record that's been playing in your head, and you can, in a safe space, go and put your intention and burn that paper that you have written down, saying, I'm now shedding my identity. And as you shed the identity and you're burning that paper of all that victimhood characteristics that you have been up until this point, in the same time, you are reclaiming your power back. So now, once you have done this, this is a very powerful, energetic process that happens. So take it easy, okay? Recover who you actually are. So now become curious and catch yourself now in the moment. how you're going to respond to that same situation that happens, but from a place of empowerment. So you realize that you are this divinity within you. You are this magnificent being. The power is within you. You hold that power and you even further embody that power. Refocus your vision to victorhood. It's the fifth step that Ron said. So sit down with yourself and have a vision. So visualize this person, who you are becoming, how do you want your life to look. And basically, as you're visualizing, you're getting results in advance, because as you're visualizing, you are living in that space, as this has already happened. So bring in, as you're visualizing, bring in the emotions and the thoughts of that version of yourself in that timeline to this now moment, and keep that within you. And as you keep that within you, then you're coming and you're asking yourself, what is my next empowering step that I can do so I can merge even further in the physical with that version of myself? So, and what's the step after? As we said earlier, little steps that is going to set you to success. It could be as little as you want, but just do it. Don't just think about it. Don't plan it. Don't make it perfect. Just do that step, because if you don't do that step, you have all that theory in your head, you have all the tools, but if you don't apply it, you might end up in step one, you might end up in that older version of yourself of victimhood, and you don't want to end up there. Although it's fine, sometimes you're going to have a few times where you're going to go through this. So do that step, and then be your hero, be the hero of your own story. So as you are doing those steps that you know it's going to bring you success, you're going to bring you fulfillment, it's going to bring you more merging more into that version of yourself that you love to be, that empowered version of yourself where you have taken full responsibility and ownership of who you are, of your life, of your future, right? Then you come from that place and you feel it. And you not only feel it, you experience it in your emotional body. The more you feel this, the more you experience this in the now moment, even if you don't see full results yet, the more of this person you are becoming, the more opportunities you will be manifesting to yourself, so you can play out in that field as this empowered person who you are aspiring to be. And I think this is about summarizing that process. Is there anything else you want to add, Ruan?
No, that is beautiful, because that is basically the steps that we all go through, right? It's, if you really take a magnifying glass and go through all these steps, you'll realize that we are already doing this, right? Whether it be consciously or subconsciously, through our different stages of our life, that we need to do this. And also, as you mentioned earlier, like when you up until 35, this process is like automatic in a way. It just happens, right? And you like, it's like shifting course correct. But then as you get older, because of all the life experience that you've had, and if you stuck at, let's say, at the age of 40 and somebody says, listen, you are useless, right? You don't know what you're doing, and you take that to heart, then imagine in your 40s and 50s trying to shift that belief that you cannot do it, right? It's like that blockage that's been put in. So there's a lot more conscious effort that needs to take place, but it's 100% possible if you take the responsibility and take on the task to say, this is not who you are. It doesn't matter what identity you put on yourself in the human form. It doesn't compare to who you are. Right?
Absolutely. So amazing. And also you mentioned courage, and I want just to go back to that courage. So be courageous when you are taking those steps, and be courageous mostly with yourself, believing in yourself and becoming confident with who you are becoming, with who you are being. Because the faster, the more consistent you are with this, with taking courage, taking the action steps and merging into that, the more confident you're going to become. And confident and, sustaining this power within you. I'm not talking about expressing your power out or abusing power or control. I'm talking about a true empowerment where you know who you are, and you know that whoever I talk to, they are me. So you come from that space of full unconditional love and a full empowerment and mastery of self. And you emit this out to the world. So you change the world by your light shining in this way as well.
Amazing. I absolutely love it. And just some last words before we depart is you had to fight to get to rock bottom. You had to go through a lot of uncomfortable situations to reach rock bottom. And now that you're here, you might think that you are drowning, but now is the time to turn around and fight to get back to the top, right? It's not going to be an easier ride up than what it was down. It's going to be a journey, and courage, determination, discipline, love, compassion, kindness. That's the things that will lighten the load as you make your journey to the top again. And life is oscillations. There's ups, there's downs. Just know once you reach the top, you will go back down again eventually. And on the way down, just know that you will go back up again one day. That is just the wave of life. And if you take a look at your heartbeat, right, it's up and down, up and down. If you don't have that up and downs, you are dead.
That's it. You don't want to be flat in your journey. Enjoy this flow. Enjoy the flow and be playful as well with it. I wouldn't say don't take it too seriously. Of course, this is your journey, but find that joy and that enlightenment and almost like a curiosity, like a young child that you see, explore what the opportunities are. Be grateful, be playful. It's just a different way of being, and this is so possible, and you got it. And if there is nobody there for you, rooting for you, come join us here. We root for you. We are a container. We are sustaining this energy because we trust and we believe that you are meant for more. We are meant for more.
And we are all on this journey together on this beautiful planet, chasing the sun and exploring the vast ocean of space together. And yeah, thank you for being on this journey. Thank you for sharing your unique light on this planet. And thank you for being the victor of your story, because you are an inspiration for other people. And just know that even though it doesn't seem like it, but there's always somebody that's looking up to you, whether it be a family member, a friend, or even the child next door. We never know who's watching, and let's be an example, a good example for future generations to come. So thank you so much for joining us. And I would also, if you enjoyed this Conscious Living Toolbox, I invite you to come and join us on Instagram. We do short lives every single day, week during the week. It's just a short energy update. So we would love to have you part of our Instagram community as well. And then if you would like to be part of this journey, we have a Patreon membership. The link will be in the description below. Join us on this journey. Let us facilitate a space for you and transform alongside of you. And we promise on both our ends that we will never cut the cocoon open. We will always cheer for you on the outside and what you transform from within.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. Until next time, live long
And prosper. Bye, everyone.